What's going on, guys? William Barry here, coming at you live from the power of the internet. Hey, man, we're going to get right into it. We got the winner of the poll here. It's going to be Dominoes. Some people told me this song is moving. I'm here to be moved. Um, it won by a pretty big margin. It looked like 1990 was in second place. I think that was a 14 point wide gap or a percentage gap. Like, my God, dude. Usually they're a little closer than that. So a lot of people want to see this one. So I guess we're going to be getting to it. Let's get her done. All right, guys. Oh, I'm also writing a script right now for a video that I'm working on where I'm creating a little bit of a little mini radio station of some of my favorite tracks. What up? Anyway, enough of the teasers. Let's get into it. Let's jive, you jive ass turkeys. Okay. Okay. Make sure the
Oh, you
volume is
built
good.
this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling.
My boy is doing that like whisper singing, bro. Look, I can't do that shit. I don't have the capability to pull that off, but my God, bro, if you're in the right state of mind and you're baked enough, you can get yourself like almost there with an ASMR boner. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, daddy, whisper into my ear. Look, this motherfucker knows what he's doing, all right? The sonic sounds were immaculate.
Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like,
That is like, dude, I've been in relationships in the past where like people push you down particular like stints. Like they know exactly what they're doing and then they do it anyway. Like the same thing happens like at work, right? Like I have been in work environments to where like my bosses have told me like, "Oh, we're just trying to get this guy to quit." So they give him shitty work, shitty shifts. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And it sucks to be someone in that position, but you know, I've been in that position where people are like, I don't like Will, dude, let's just get this guy out of here. And then they give you like a whole level of shit work, and then like you do it all and do it fucking amazing. And then like that guy comes up to you later and he's like, I'm so sorry, I was so wrong. And you're like, what's up, bro? And then you got it in, bro. I kind of like that being in that situation, actually. You know what I mean? Dude, I'm one of the few people you ever meet that like to stress, dude. I don't know what it is, dude. High stress, high stuff like that, dude. I fucking love it, bro. When I have like 39 customers, I got an hour wait, and I'm fucking knocking out oil change after oil change while my boys are out wrenching on like mad men and mad lads, and like you forget to eat lunch. You're so busy. Man, those are the best days, dude. Like you go home, you're exhausted. You know, you sold like I don't know $9,000 worth of work, dude. You sold two fucking engine jobs, brakes on three different vehicles, and four sets of tires, and you're sitting there like fucking feeling really good about your shit. And plus, you knocked out 15 oil changes, five of which were for a commercial account. You got like three positive reviews. You go home, dude. You hit your fucking joint, and you're just like, that day would have been worse if I wasn't there. And then that's something you can hold on to, man. Sorry. I don't know how I got on that, bro. Sorry.
you build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. So bleed me of all my self-belief.
Damn, bro. Been there, dude. I've been there, dude. I still be in that bitch, bro. I still feel like an imposter right here. Like, dude, I'm not a real musician, bro. I can't break down this shit effectively. All I can do is talk about feelings, vibes, and things. You know what I mean? Like, there are actual musicians out there whose opinions merit your attention far more than mine. Now, I know people are like, you offer stuff too. Well, yeah, I understand. But you like, when you walk among giants, you feel inadequate. And bro, I've met people in my professional careers throughout my life that have made me feel that. Like, when you meet another manager who's like a really good wrench, really good with people, and you're like, what the fuck? I'm only good at like one thing, talking. Like, you're a good wrench and you're good with people and like you upsell and you like, what? Do you have like skeletons in your closet? How can you learn all of this shit? Then again, I realize I know about 10,000 hours of League of Legends, so maybe it's just that they had a genuine interest in what they were doing and it wasn't a job to them. But dude, it's so easy for your self-belief to be deflated and how critical that is to success. Like, that's a critical blow. Like, even we even intrinsically know this. Like, there's a reason why music exists the way that it does, or entertainment does. Morale matters. Your morale going into work can change every aspect of who you are. That makes you tolerable. It can make you understandable. Morale is something that's important. That's the reason why we try to do. They were giving like liquor to like soldiers. Like, yo, bro, keep morale high. Like, party hard. When people lose morale or confidence or faith in self or faith in anything, man.
So bleed me of all my self-belief. My smile shows all my insecurity.
I don't know, like
In
that.
the kingdom of photoshopped kings and queens will never feel happy with ourselves.
Photoshop kings and queens. You might like, okay, maybe because he's like from England or from the UK area or whatever the fuck it is. Like, whatever. Like, different culture. Never understand it. Don't care. He could be referring to actually king and queens, but I feel like a more apt view of that would be like social media and Facebook. Like, every day we go on social media and Facebook and we try to make ourselves like little mini influencers that we're living a life worthy of like admiration. So we build ourselves up in these like little fucking fake realities of posturing. I'm happy here. I did this because of this. I'm an important person because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Fuck that word. Z. X, Y, and Z, bro. America. All right, look, I gotta stop doing that. My girlfriend will beat me one day. Look. Dude. Dude. There's just so much, dude. I think that we build up these like artificial versions of ourselves so that we can be more appealing on a wider variety of people, so that we can get more people to like us and feed our ego and sense of self, especially in an age that's entirely online. And I have even more criticism for that because I'm a YouTuber. I'm literally doing that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of. Like, I like to believe that I believe the things I say and do, and I live the same way, regardless. Like, I call flowers. I give flowers to people. Like I have an Eminem video about to come out where I speak a great deal, a lot of shit about Eminem, but I also give him his flowers. Let him be known that he's the greatest rapper to ever live. I just don't fuck with his music. And I think that like in a wide variety of things, like you can live intrinsic to like your core beliefs, but I'm still a YouTuber, right? Like I still want to be like have people see my content. Like the criticism Ren is putting forward accelerated, exacerbated to its like most logical extreme. Like that's something that all YouTubers need to be cognitive of. Like cognitive of. Yeah, no, I said that. Like, why the fuck was I trying to put like a Nah, look. Anyway, a lot of people look up to influencers, and usually because influencers are there to give you their opinion on a various levels of topics, ranging from politics, personal life, well-being, social insecurities, all of these things. People turn to these people. But like a lot of them are just like projecting. Hell, I project all the time. We're human. We need to learn not to compare ourselves to other people. Because when you start doing that, you'll never stack up because we're so hard on ourselves. We find a way to make ourselves lesser than we really are. It's rich coming from me, though, eh?
My smile shows all my insecurity. In a kingdom of Photoshop, kings and queens will never feel happy with ourselves, but insecurity sells.
True.
Dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling.
Think about this just real quick. Like, even some of the most beautiful women in the world, when they put their photos in these magazines, they still Photoshop them. They still, like, make them skinnier than they need to be. They still beautify the most beautiful women in the world. They airbrush imperfections all the time. Even the world that we're imitating is artificial. And that's why so many people come off as fake in a world where the thing we're imitating is artificial. And music is moving that way too with AI music. A lot of things are going to become digitized in a way that, like, at what point does the human still exist?
Oh, you build us like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like
Ooh, I like that delivery. That was smooth. I like that. Let's...
dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. I hide my head under the sheets.
What a what?
'Cause how can I face a world that ridicules the weak?
True. What is this, like, dream pop fucking, like, aqua synth? Like, this is wild, bro. And why do we ridicule the weak? I got into a debate with a buddy of mine who's a libertarian, and he was like, some of the things he was advocating for, I don't know how a person can get it in their head that we should just be okay with, like, the absolute destruction of the meek. Like, those that can should do, and those that can't do should be helped by those that can. Like, if you have the capability to help somebody, you should. If you have the ability to be honest, you should. It's where we don't have the freedom to do those things where problems they permeate. We need to give people as much freedom as we can give them, as long as they're still able to operate within the confines of a society. And we can agree on the same set rules. But we should never use the weak or the meek or the disenfranchised as a platform or a vector of attack. Like, we should not use them as a bludgeon or a weapon. We should just help them and then move them out of the way and let everyone else do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, we should find a way to facilitate these people with the most effective life that they can have with the least amount of, pain and suffering that we can afford them within any, functioning society. Because one day we will all be the meek. We'll all be retired. Our bones will weak. They will break. They have bent for years. Eventually they shatter. Like, come on, bro. At one point in our life, we will become the weak. And we would hope that someone will be there to care for us. Even if it's just like a stranger at, like, a hospital. You know what I mean?
'Cause how can I face a world that ridicules the weak? Where beauty is sold on the shelves, forbid that we find it in ourselves.
True.
And now I'm broke, it don't come cheap. Oh, you build us like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you build us like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling.
Araya was the most beautiful girl in this world. She shined like diamonds and rubies and pearls. But then, as soon as she turned 13, she forgot just how bright that it was that she gleamed. Stuck in the material world of magazines that glamorise fake and Photoshop beauty queens. Top 10 beauty tips making her feel inadequate. For the first time in her life, she felt ugly. So Araya stopped eating to lose weight. She spent her dinner money on some makeup for her face. But no matter how much she lost or how much she bought, she was never good enough, or so she thought.
Some of that isn't just marketing, though. Like, some of that self-doubt is intrinsic to being around other people. Like, even if you're not marketing to this individual girl, she's going to exist in a world where other people will find her either appealing or not appealing. One thing that we can take into consideration while listening to a song much like this, it is pointing out the flaws of a system that's perpetuated, women to feel inadequate. Like the fact that when I tell my girlfriend she's beautiful, she tells me no, is fucking infuriating. And it's further reinforced by a society that's told her that, you have to adhere to these particular beauty standards. But it's not just the society itself, it's the people that exist within that society that prop that society up. Like every day, a man that goes out of his way to look at a woman that looks like she belongs in like one of those beauty magazines over another beautiful woman is helping facilitate that problem. And also the women that are pushing more and more women to look that way, not only by the way that they act and the things they say and the things that they do, but by also pursuing that for themselves is also helping further perpetuate that problem. Both men and women within this paradigm are creating an environment for this one individual girl to suffer, and she won't suffer alone. There'll be more women like her across the board throughout the entirety of our lifetimes. The problem is that it's not so simple that we just start making changes that it won't happen. It's going to continue to happen because humans are always looking for a way to express themselves in unique and different ways. One of the ways that I could explain this is a thing that I'm mulling over for a YouTube video that I'm working on currently about music and AI music and the direction that music could be going, and one of the downfalls of that thing. One of the problems that I have with AI music is that it takes away the incentive of creating music through effort. Effort is a very important aspect of what makes music palatable, because you know that something that they worked on means that there was something they cared about, and they continue to put that effort into it. However, that effort is a barrier to entry for people that don't have the same capabilities. For example, listening to like the story of a blind person could be way more intrinsic, that it could have more life-altering circumstances for you. Like you can listen to the story of someone from a whole different perspective, but there's all these other hurdles in front of them in order to make that kind of music palatable. Now, that is possible with the advent of AI music, but something might be lost in the transition. Now, it's up for every individual person to determine where that value is, but more importantly, it's the way that we can look towards this music that makes me interested. One thing that matters to me is that we can prop up an individual person's experience through something like AI with no hurdles or barriers of entry. Something that is powerful is one thing that you can look towards, and it's also the most disheartening part of all of this, is that you can go look at anyone who makes AI music and see the way their mind works. For people that are huge into psychology, it's literally like a doorway into their mind. You have unlimited possibilities before you that can create virtually anything. And with all of this unlimited capabilities, what are you going to choose to create? There are a majority of AI artists out there that bunch of their shit is just shit. It's just shit music that's like cats meowing over and over again to a beat. And it's some of the most popular on the platforms, which is a bummer because that does stand contrast to the thing that I would hope that humans would like, is that the human story is the most prolific part of anything. But even in today's music, we don't see that bear out. Artists like Ren, though they are a rare thing, they're not as big as artists like, I don't know, Taylor Swift, Eminem, Ed Sheeran, all these people whose a majority of their music is nowhere near as in depth as I would like to see music be. But that's just my own personal opinion. This is an internal battle that all of us must struggle for. But the reason why I bring it up is because much of that battle undergirds where music is going to be going for a large majority of people. We do not live entirely in a democracy, but our musical landscape is often fixated on and controlled by a large majority of people. The more people that agree that something is awesome, the more likely that it becomes awesome. And then you become a little edgelord like me, standing on the precipice of the outside going, nah, bro, I don't fuck with this. And then you'll be alone, because that's usually the way it works. But in that loneliness, you will find occasional other people like you. And that's where things matter. But the things that we put into the kitty, the things that we put into the pool, all of us are making an appeal for this is the way that something should be, ought to be. It's no different for this young girl. She exists in a world where everyone has just agreed that this is the way that women ought to look. And now she's forced into a binary, which makes her life far more boring. And then it creates the external pressure to fit into that binary. And then that binary creates an unhealthy paradigm where she will never meet the standards and she will continually to fall short. All things break down very similarly, at least to me. And you could trace that across multiple different subjects, and like from film, music, culture, politics, like it all kind of flows together. Sorry, that was you motherfuckers get me thinking, man.
How much she lost, or how much she bought, she was never good enough, or so she thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding her scars with gloves. At 16, an anorexic beauty queen, she collapses in a puddle of her tears and blood, cause she never felt enough, she never felt enough. Your sellers sold this lie that we must buy to keep in touch. We can never buy enough, never buy enough. All the riches in the world can't buy a sense of self-love. Funny how you act surprised when depression's levels rise, when you force feed inadequacy straight into our eyes. Television shows that praise the beautiful people.
I agree with all of this, but I think it misses some of the point. Now, Ren will later go on in his work to talk about the importance of our choices every day. But I don't like the idea that this is solely on like some other entity when we are also fully capable of doing these things. Now, this isn't a criticism of the song or Ren, because like it's really hard to write that in music. Even when I write songs, I try to stay a little subtracted and just tell a single cohesive narrative. But I'm not a song guy right now. This is a reaction, and my job is to talk about the duality of all things, because it's the thing I enjoy about life. That's why I can talk about the other side of the spectrum, despite the fact that I firmly have my legs planted on one particular side.
And talent competitions that just laugh at the feeble. Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to fear, feeling ugly, it's lunacy. And life in the community, cause insecurity breeds judgment, judgment breeds hate, no unity. And hierarchy based upon aesthetics is what makes a kid in school get bullied for genetics.
Yeah, but it's not just a hierarchy of aesthetics. Like, if you want to dive deeper into the topic, you can, because like sometimes like jocks were popular not just because they were typically attractive, because some jocks aren't. Some jocks are popular because of their capability at the sport that they're playing. You know, like in the League of Legends community, people look up to Faker not just because he's also an amazing player, but he also just seems like a good dude. You know, he's a team guy. He talks about that shit all the time. You know, he seems a little bit wholesome, maybe he's not. Maybe he's a monster. Meanwhile, T1, who is like, you know, one of these very toxic personality traits, can reform and become like one of the most uplifting voices in the community when he's like playing League of Legends. It's fucking weird. People are a product of their environment, and people are a product of their genetics, but people are also a product of their decisions.
And I felt so ugly growing up. The way that I look sometimes got me beaten up. I mean, what the fuck sort of culture do we live in when we're defined by the shape of our face?
See, and I don't understand his pain here. I just don't. Because I was never beaten up. I was a bigger kid. I was capable of beating other people up, you know. I was more of an anti-bully. I was huge in school, you know. No one fucked with me. And if they ever did, they regretted it. You know what I mean? So I don't have the opinion. I don't have the capability to understand the position of someone uh, from like a meek standpoint. Uh, but what I do know is the inferiority of not being as talented or well spoken, or to feel that I don't live up on other aspects. But yeah, on the size thing, I couldn't understand that. I've never been I've been a you know I used to be able to bench a lot, you know what I mean? Not anymore, dude. Nowadays, I'm a meek guy, but I still don't. I didn't have that upbringing through that meekness. Only child, ready to fight, locked up pretty early. No one in the world would tell me what to do. I didn't give a fuck if you had a badge, if you were a teacher. If I didn't like what you were saying, I'd just punch you in the fucking face. Didn't give a shit type guy, you know what I mean? Went to crazy kid school. I mean, I was a good kid after, a few incidences, but I wanted to have to be a good kid. So I don't, this side of this part, not really my style, but I understand it from a perspective of looking outward towards it, but not necessarily. Yeah.
When we're defined by the shape of our face, when we're ashamed by the size of our waist, when we're imprisoned by the form that we take. And so we keep buying and spending. That's just how this story goes. You build us up just to knock us back down, and we just keep falling. Like dominoes.
That was a good song. It wasn't the most emotional song. This one did not make me cry. Like everyone said I was going to probably cry on this one. I don't know. I, a long time ago, released a video called My Response to Fat Pride. And a lot of people thought, because I'm a big fat piece of shit, that I was going to be on the side of fat pride people. I'm not. And I never will be. You should be comfortable in your body. And no one should be able to tell you otherwise. You should feel beautiful for the things that you can do and be proud of what you're capable of, no matter who you are. That's across the board. But that doesn't mean we should celebrate obesity. We really shouldn't. And we shouldn't look down on artists like Adele who lose weight. That should be celebrated. You are not a bad person because you're overweight. You're unhealthy. I am too. And being unhealthy is not something to be proud of. You should feel somewhat bad if you are morbidly obese like myself. There's a part of your life that is sick that you need to fix. And it's not easy. It's hard. Trust me, I'm in the middle of doing it right now. You want to quit every day because stuffing your face feels good. You can't. You have to keep trying. You should keep trying. Our society should not demonize you for your body, but we should encourage you to improve it. Saying such things makes you an enemy of the fat community. And if that makes you the enemy of the fat community, then sign me up as enemy number one. I know what I did was unhealthy. No one needs to make excuses for my life. I was being lazy. I justified my poor decisions by saying I was working too much. Well, when I was unemployed, I didn't change anything. Most of these things are lies that we tell ourselves to perpetuate the system that we're in. If you are struggling with weight loss and depression because of weight loss, seek help and talk with a medical professional. Don't listen to dipshits like me or dumb fucks like Andrew Tate or anyone in the red pill movement. No matter what it is, even if it's a small improvement, you should aim to make it as often as possible. Minor improvements over the long courses of periods may turn into massive improvements down the road. It's that simple. That's how every business operates. Every business looks to gain just about a 5 to 10% increase from the prior year. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. And if they can maintain a 1.5 to a 3.5 ratio of growth, the business is going to call it a success. If you can do the same thing with your weight loss and your own mental health and the own minor things that you're working through, it'll make tremendous help down the road. Though it may not feel like an immediate improvement, you have to think about things in a long term. You have to be thinking about what's the best thing for you at every given situation. And just be honest. That doesn't mean you can't cheat. It doesn't mean every once in a while you can't have a pop or a Red Bull. You just have to be more cognitive of the decisions you're making and be aware why you're making the decisions you are. Sometimes you're making a decision because you're hurt, scared, or anxious. And when those are the cases, you should probably aim to make the opposite decision that you're making. Just by proxy. Because otherwise you could fall into an addictive habit that tells you that you have to repeat the process. Just my food for thought for someone who's been morbidly obese for a long time and who struggles with weight loss every single day. I am by no means an expert on the topic of how to lose weight, but I am a means of an expert, somewhat, means I have some expertness on how to gain weight. Matter of fact, I'm quite good at that. Anyway, this was a cool video, man. Ren always brings the fire. You know, it was not as emotional driven for me. Yeah, apparently everyone says like these are the hardest songs. I saw another one say it was really hard too, and it just seemed like it. But see, I mean, I listen to emo music my whole life. All my songs are about cutting and wanting to kill yourself and hating God. So this was actually pretty light. I mean, for a pop artist, if Ren was one at the time, this is a heavier topic, but this was surface level shit for me, guys. All right. Anyway, I love you guys. Be safe. See you in the next one.
I used to wake up like the world was mine. Now it's just morning again. Used to tall like dreams could bend the sky. Now I just grow till it ends.